肯定会想他的。
拿着，走吧。
After walking several miles in this mountain, they couldn't see a person. The son thought that even a god would suffocate to death, and he also think of his mom in the mountains in a year. It rained heavily. His young mom accidentally sprained her foot. Fortunately, he met a passing township postman. The township postman asked the woman to ride a bull, but the woman refused that. So he carried the woman down the mountain. When the villagers saw the safe return of the only farming ox in the village, they were all happy. My dad didn't look at the cow. He just stared at my mom. Later, my dad led my mom out of the mountain. They reached a ridge near the ravine and the son walked in front and sang along with the radio. At this time, Lauer suddenly cried out. The son thought it was singing with him. The father said that he was just reporting a letter. When they arrived at Hanpo, his father said he had a letter to send alone, and his son followed him to Wupo's house. Wupo was blind and lived alone in the mountains. Her daughter-in-law died after giving birth to her grandson. Wupo raised grandson by herself. Later, her grandson went to college outside and never returned home. After the death of the Wupo's son, she cried every day and cried blindly. At this time, Wupo was sitting at the door. The father handed the letter to Wupo and said that after he was about to retire, his son would take over. Wupo couldn't believe this young man. The father said, "He is still young, and we are all old." Wupo and wiser back you was only 41, not older than me. Then he opened the envelope and put 10 yuan in it. The father handed this letter to his son and let him read it for Wupo. The son, he didn't know that there were no words on the paper, so he habitually handed the letter back to his dad.
您一个人住在山里面，真是不容易。特区的生活条件要好得多，真应该接您出来看看，让您安度晚年。
The father told his son that the grandson of Wupo was the only child who was admitted to university within a few hundred miles. He personally delivered the admission letter to Wupo's grandson, and the child fell to his knees and said that he was really leaving this time and never came back. Only a remittance slip is sent every year during the spring festival. If you continue my work, you have to take good care of Wupo. The son said that this is no problem. In fact, while the son holding Wupo's hand, he thought of his mother again. People like his father who go out all year round always have many reasons for not caring about family. Instead, the family cares about them more. His mother said that his father was suffering outside and never blamed him, just like Wupo and her grandson.
Oh, 这是我儿子，新上任的香油员，今年24岁。
The girl told them that there was a wedding wine today, and the reason why it was set today was to wait for her father's arrival. At night, the village was full of laughter. The father was a little drunk. He looked at the son and the girl and thought of his youth. After the meal, the father and son continued their journey. The father told his son that when he saw the girl for the first time, he thought that if his son saw him, he would not even walk. Now it seems that this is true. He knows that his son must be a favorite girl. After leaving the village, the father taught his son that the mailbox in the village must be checked on time. If there is money on the envelope, don't you forget to buy a stamp and stick it on it. When they arrived at the foot of the mountain, a big river blocked the way. As long as they crossed this river, they could walk less than 8 miles. The son didn't want his father to cross the river in the cold water and proposed to carry him across the river. Hearing this, the father was stunned.